Hello everybody, welcome back to Art Smart, and today we're going to be talking about Toon Factory. This is a series of DVDs that were released in the early part of the 2000s, and you still saw these kicking around places like Walmart and kind of cheap DVD places up until a couple years ago. I think I still, up until about 2015, 16, something like that, I still saw these kicking around sometimes in large bins of kind of grab DVDs, that you would see in like Walmart. These are DVD sets which have a little bit more on them than the typical number of cartoons you'd see on Cartoon Craze, which is a DVD set that I talked to you guys about before that you would find in the Dollar Tree. These particular sets would have usually more. In this case, you have 17 on this particular set. And if you look at the other ones, that's a good kind of round number for about what you'll usually see, like 15 to 20, something like that. So these DVDs certainly had more on them, but they also usually cost a few dollars more. I saw them in kind of in like the $3 to $5 range a lot is kind of what you would find these for in those kind of cheap grab bins. Now, the front of these typically give you an idea of about the kind of cartoons you're going to see on it. This has a Warner Brothers character on it, and when you actually look at the list here, most of the list here is actually Warner Brother cartoons. They did try to seem to loosely put them together, but not all the cartoons on here are Warner Brothers. And if you get a collection, don't assume everything is going to be the character or the kind of cartoon that you see on the front. A lot of it may be grab bag stuff. These are public domain cartoons, guys. If I give you further reviews of these kinds of sets, it's going to be the same thing over and over again when I say these are public domain cartoons where they're just grabbing what they can find. They're not necessarily the best prints. They're not necessarily the worst prints. And yes, you can find them easier elsewhere. You can go online and find a lot of these, in fact, pretty much all of these for free on places like YouTube or on streaming devices, public domain websites. These things are out there. So you don't need to get this. But again, they are kind of cool looking. They do have a nice little design to them. And you do get enough cartoons on there where you don't feel completely swindled if you had spent a couple bucks on getting this. There's a couple nice screenshots, which is good. I do find that the menu on this is a little slower than the Cartoon Craze. When you're kind of clicking on it, it just takes it a second to go to the next thing. So that's a little annoying, the DVD menu, but it's really not a huge deal. When you're looking at this too, by the way, there really are no special features on here. They do, let me see here. No, actually, I'm sorry. I thought this gives you closed captioning. I don't usually use that, but nope, no closed captioning on this. So this is basically just straight up cartoons. So if you are going to pick up a series of these online, keep in mind that it's pretty basic. You're just getting the cartoons and that's it. Now, one thing to keep in mind is these are selling for ridiculous prices in some cases. You can find them pretty cheap for a couple bucks if you look right on places like eBay or whatever, but some places swindle people by spending more, by saying, oh, look, you get 17 cartoons on here. You should be able to spend $5 to $10 on that. Well, hey, guess what? Originally, it was usually less than $5. So don't spend $5 on this. It's stupid. So look around a little bit if you're going to buy it used online. And as I said with the Cartoon Craze DVDs, these are really not worth picking up unless you can find them for a quarter or something in a thrift store, because quite frankly, these are not hard to find elsewhere, these cartoons. So why spend money on something that you can get for free elsewhere? If you really like cartoons and you like the way these look and you want to put it on your shelf, just make sure you shop smart and try to find them as cheap as possible. So I don't necessarily recommend it to purchase it, but it's not the worst thing to have either. Like I said, the one major criticism is that the menus are just a little bit too interactive and too much stuff going on. Just simplify it so that I can just click on the darn thing that I want. Anyway, hopefully this review makes sense to you. Hopefully this makes you a little bit more art smart with your decision making for buying cartoons, and hopefully you will go buy more cartoons. Classic cartoons deserve a place on your shelf and deserve a place in your heart. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.